The elderly woman lying in this box actually passed away 3 years ago, but her 3 granddaughters still haven't buried her. The reason is simple. Her pension was just too tempting. In order to keep collecting the money, they decided to store their grandmother in the freezer, usually covering her body with various vegetables and meats. No one would have guessed that there was actually a corpse hidden underneath. They thought nothing could go wrong. But then one day the Social Security Bureau suddenly called, saying they needed to come by and verify the elderly woman's health. The 3 of them panicked, hurriedly took their grandmother frozen stiff like a popsicle to thaw her. But before she had even softened, the doorbell rang. Faced with the Social Security Bureau staff who showed up earlier than expected, the eldest sister had no choice but to put on a melodramatic love confession at the door, pulling the staff outside and passionately declaring her feelings, successfully buying some time. Meanwhile, the others inside hurriedly staged a fake scene, even setting up a mahjong table with the grandmother seated at the head, while the 2 granddaughters pretended to play cards. Although the old lady's skin had turned bluish-purple and her expression was frighteningly stiff, the staff didn't notice anything amiss at first. They thought they had managed to get away with it, but unexpectedly, the crisis escalated again the next day. The grandmother's old flame suddenly appeared, saying he hadn't reached her for 48 hours, and if he couldn't find her soon, he called the police. Granddaughter Lisa had no choice but to use her secret weapon disguising herself as her grandmother to pass off the impersonation. Unfortunately, her acting skills weren't good enough, and she almost gave herself away. Just after sending off the old flame, the tax officer Dashan came knocking at the door. Lisa, terrified, immediately switched back to being herself, once again putting on a show of ambiguous evasion. But misfortune struck unexpectedly a few days later. The refrigerator suddenly caught fire, nearly roasting the old lady into crispy ribs. It was only then that the 3 sisters realized keeping her in the fridge was no longer reliable. So they decided to move their grandmother elsewhere. So they drove a van through the night, racing out to the countryside, planning to find a secluded spot to hide the body. But the van was going too fast, and during a sharp turn, their grandmother in her wheelchair was flung out, sliding all the way down the slope right back to the front door of their original home. Just then, old Wang happened to pass by and caught sight of her. She was overwhelmed with excitement. She had always thought the old lady was a reclusive master, and never expected to see her racing back in a wheelchair. She chased after her at full speed, but could only watch helplessly as the old lady disappeared into a patch of woods. Meanwhile, the 3 sisters were still pretending to be innocent in front of the police. But when the officers opened the trunk, it was completely empty. The old lady had vanished. At that moment, the old lady was speeding through the forest in her wheelchair, only coming to a stop when she crashed into a tree. Old Wang, who had caught up, was so frightened that she fainted on the spot. But when her granddaughter Kuihua got home, she was shocked to find her grandmother lying safely in bed. Behind all of this was Dajwang's secret maneuver. He had secretly lured and moved the old lady back home, simply because he didn't want Kuihua to go to jail for the missing body. However, Kuihua refused to bury her grandmother and insisted on keeping her frozen, all for the sake of that steady stream of pension money. As for conscience, morality, and the law, none of those feel as reassuring as the balance in her bank account.